everyone. Happy Sunday to you. Happy Sunday to you. Now, today is Sunday, day of rest and relaxation. Now, I'm doing Twish early memories. Now, my earliest memory goes back to when I was a baby in the crib with my sister in the room. And I was laying on a cot, and I remember my sister was in a crib on the other side of the room, and she was a year older than me, a year and a half, and she would rock back and forth on the crib on her hands and knees. You know, she was something like that, rocking back and forth. And I remember laying on my bed and thinking, what is she doing? I couldn't move, I was a baby, not able to move on my back. I remember thinking, I guess she was about 2, and I guess I was about 6 months old, or 9 months old, and she was about 2.5 or something. And I remember, no, she must have been about a year and a half, and I must have been a year, let's see, 54, 55, 56, 57. I guess she was about a year and a half or 2, and I was about 9 months or something. So I remember laying there and thinking, why is she moving back and forth like that on the crib? And she rocked back and forth, and the crib would crawl across the room to the other side. And my parents had to come in and put her back down to sleep, And that's my earliest memory. Now, all my memories are very good of childhood. Oh boy, what a childhood! Wonderful. Now, I remember my mother saying, you see, in those days, it wasn't like nowadays, where everybody had to have 2 jobs and a big house and have lots of money. People were content to stay in an apartment. The man went out and worked, and the woman stayed home, or if she had a job, she worked too. But people were not so big on getting a lot of big things like they are nowadays, cars and trucks and boats and all this. And she had a baby, Ruthie, the first one, my sister. And when she was born, she didn't know what to do. She was alone here in Montreal, just with my father. And because her mother, her father was sick and her mother couldn't come down to help her. So she was alone. So she called the Victorian Order of Nurses. And they came and helped her. And they said, now, show us what you do. What do you do with the baby? She says, well, get up in the morning, and I feed her, and put her, oh no, they said, come, this is what you do. How do you bathe? Show us how you bathe her. How do you bathe her? And she says, well, I take the cloth, and I put the cloth gently around her ears, and a little bit on her face, a little bit on the eyes. Oh, I don't want to get any soap in her eyes. Oh, no, the Victorian Order of Nurse said. Do like this. Take the baby. Fill up the tub with water. Baby tub. or the sink or something. Fill it up with water. Put the baby in. Right in. Hold her like this. Hold her neck like this. Take the water. Put the water over the baby. Oh, it's not going to hurt her. Wash her all up like this. Take the face cloth all over the face. All over the face like that. Look at that. All washed. Now take the towel. Put her in the towel. And she learned like that. And she said, she had the Dr. Spock book. And she said, she followed that. It said, put the baby out 10 minutes. Even in the winter, put a baby out 10 minutes in its pram, all bundled up in blankets and everything. So that's what she did. And then so that's how she learned. Now, another early memory I have is when we moved to the country, a house in the country. My father got another job. My parents met working at the company in Montreal. And there was a talent show. And they were picked. My uncle and my father and my mother, amongst others, were picked. My mother was picked to sing. My father to play the clarinet and all that, and my uncle to play the guitar. And variety show they had, for the company. And they met, and they fell in love, and they got married, and they had children. So then we moved up to the country, in the country. And there was a little house in the country. And I remember one of my earliest memories, I guess I was about 2 or 3. My sister was about 3 or 4. And I remember my father taking us into the woods beside the house to look for mushrooms. And we found big mushrooms like that. Big mushrooms. 2 big ones like that. And they were like wood mushrooms. Not that you could eat or nothing, but heap. So, and my father carved the date, 1950 something, 60 or something. It's 1959 or something. And he carved the date and his name into the mushrooms. And do you know, he kept those mushrooms. Oh, 7 or 8 years. And then when we moved into the house with the fireplace, we put those mushrooms down by the fireplace as a decoration. We always remembered when we looked at those mushrooms. Oh, yeah, there was when we were little, and we used to go out walking in the woods with our father, And so I have good memories. And it's true. Kids, we played out on the street and all that and went all over without supervision. We knew to come in by 8 o'clock at night when the lights came on in the street, And, but the kids all played together, played all kinds of games, like green light, red light. Kids would line up on the edge of the lawn, and one would be in the front, the leader, and say red light, and you wouldn't move. Green light, you'd run up, and she'd say red light, and you'd have to stop. And she'd say green light, and you'd run up, and red light, you'd have to stop. And the first one to reach her at the end of the lawn was the winner. And we played Old Granny Witch, what time is it? Which would be like kids would stand up on the lawn, and one would be in the head, and she'd say, the head kid would say, Old Granny Witch, what time is it? And she'd say, 5 o'clock. And you'd go up 5 steps and so forth. And another one we had, which was funny, was not last night, but the night before. It's not last night, but the night before. 24 robbers came knocking at my door, and this is what they said. Lady, turn around, turn around, turn around. Lady, touch the ground, touch the ground, touch the ground. Lady, show your shoes, show your shoes, show your shoes. Ladies, that'll do, that'll do, that'll do. We did that to the skipping rope. There are a lot of tunes to the skipping rope. And Queenie, Queenie, who's got the ball? And so we played all games like that, you know, when we were about 6, 7, and 8. And then the Beatles came along, and we just loved to go on a Saturday up to see the Beatles movies. There was a theater not far, the Astor Theater, and we'd go to see the Beatles movies, and we'd get a bar of candy, like Macintosh or chocolate bar or something like that, usually Macintosh toffee, and we'd watch the movies, Beatles movies, Thomasina, Time Machine. So when you're 7 or 8 years old, watching all these movies was fascinating time. And then we moved into the house, and that was another fascinating time. My childhood was just fascinating, full of fascinating things, and wonderful. So that's some of my memories, everybody. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.